This week's Coffee Time had a lot of questions and conversation about home inspections, whether it's new construction like what you see behind me, or a more traditional resale home, whether you do it before you list the home, after you list the home, before you buy, or after you buy. Lots of great information, a lot of great viewer questions, so I thought it would be a good idea to repost that section so that you could take advantage of all of that great information about home inspections.
Eric, he put the ice cream scoop. Oh my gosh. So Eric, we did our quick run through of the show this morning before you left. I didn't really notice the ice cream scoop with my head on it again. I thought that was just for last week, but anyway. So as we talk about this, the inspection types, we're going to talk about this really kind of because this particular graphic that he did, I cannot watch myself in an ice cream scoop, guys. I'm sorry. Got to get off of that. But if you are, back to what I was talking about before, if you are purchasing a new construction home and you decide you want to have a third-party inspection done, there are inspections that you can have done all throughout the course of the build process. You can have an inspection done once the foundation is poured. That's going to be up to you. Again, I'm never going to say that you should or should not do it. It's going to be a personal decision. But if you were to determine, hey, I want to do a third-party inspection, my suggestion would be to do a pre-drywall inspection with a third party, because that's really the only time anyone is going to be able to see what's behind the walls. That's when you're going to be able to see the flow of the HVAC, the venting, the ductwork, the plumbing, the electrical. Sometimes if you have a home built with the home team internal wall pest treatment, you'll be able to see the tubing and the locations for that. So that's really, and the insulation coming in, well, it's usually not in after that, but it's literally the only time for you to be able to see behind the walls. So that's a good time then if you want to have a third-party inspector come out and do an inspection, you could do pre-drywall. Is it required? Is it really, truly necessary? No, it's not, because remember, the county is still inspecting these properties, and anything that's not going to meet code or exceed code is going to be noted and is going to, need to be remedied by the builder anyway. But if you do want to do that, then you would get what we call a pre-drywall inspection. Now, if you're still talking new construction, if you want to get another third-party inspection done right before you close, then you would have just a typical home inspection. And you'll notice, at least with some of the companies that I use, most often, Central Florida Building Inspectors is always my go-to inspector. I have a few others that I use too. But CFBI always takes great care of me and my clients. Use them for my own homes, my kids' homes. But there's lots of great companies out there. And if you look, in most cases, they even have now a category of a new construction home inspection, because they know what then that they're looking for, right? It's a brand new home, so you might be looking at something different in a new construction, getting ready to close on the home, than you would a residential inspection of a home that's maybe 15 years old. So anyway, so those are those types of inspections, but there are others. So let's talk resale now. So if you're buying a home that's even 1 year old, 2 years old, 3 years old, 10 years old, 20 years old, 30 years old, when your offer is accepted on your home, you're going to have an inspection. You just should do it. I'm so sorry. I would never, ever, ever waive the inspection. Now, you could potentially waive the inspection contingency. And full disclosure, this is what we did with my son's home when he purchased it in Virginia. And I know better, but this is sometimes you have to make a decision based on the timing of the market, wants, needs, desires, urgency, things like that. So, that when he purchased his home, it was in a very busy, it was in that crazy market where people were paying above asking price. They were bridging gaps for appraisals. They were waiving inspections. They were, waiving appraisals. They were doing all of these different things. So he really, really, really wanted that home. It was between him and another buyer, and so they wanted to waive the inspection contingency. Guys, it's not a great thing to do. I'm not happy we did it, but I'm thrilled that he has the home. But what we did to safeguard ourselves, I won't say it was really to protect ourselves, because once you waive it, you kind of move forward. But we still had an inspection done on the home. You don't have to waive your right to have an inspection done on it. And guys, I don't ever suggest that you do that. Even if somebody else says, hey, we just had the home inspected. And I've done that. The home that Eric is at right now, the amazing sellers had an inspection done right before it was listed to go on the market. But I would never tell someone only use that inspection report, because, You want to make sure that you've contracted that person to do the inspection and that you feel comfortable and have great peace of mind with it. But at any rate, you can, like, again, back to the forest situation, we waived the inspection contingency, but we did not waive the inspection. So we had a full inspection done on the home. We knew of some of the things that needed to be remedied, and we did so as soon as he moved in. We had an electrician out there. We had somebody come out and reseal around the not a sunroof, a skylight, sunroof, car, skylight that is in the home. Some things that were on the inspection report that weren't horrible, but they could be things that we just wanted to have remedied. And so we did. We just did it with no contingency. And anyway, so moving on, other types of inspections that you can have done. WDO. Okay, that stands for wood destroying organisms, and that is essentially termites. You're probably going to have termites pretty much everywhere. So it's an inspection that you want to know exists. If you are purchasing with an FHA or a VA loan, you're going to be required to have that WDO inspection, right? It's a different type of a loan structure, and that is a requirement of those loans. So if you are clicking on an inspector's website, and you are going, okay, well, I'm going to schedule my home inspection. Okay, I'm going to do this inspection. And WDO, am I going to do that one? Yeah, go ahead and do it. It's not going to hurt anything. It's a few $100s to get it done, depending on where you live. But again, there's peace of mind there. But you do need to do that all within the inspection period. So I've had a client recently that did the regular home inspection and at the last minute decided they wanted to throw in the WDO. Well, they got it done, but it was literally on the last day of the inspection period. And there was no issues, but they had a better peace of mind. But it would have been a lot better to do that and get that scheduled in the beginning. Thank you, Boo-Boo. You're doing a great job. My little girl's over here. She's doing all the Eric stuff. She's clicking all the buttons over there. She's doing a good job. And chasing dogs, apparently. So the WDO, so that again, wood destroying organism, just think of it as termites. So it's like a termite inspection, again, required with FHA and VA loans. But there's other inspections you can have done. You can have wind mitigation. There's like a 4-point inspection that also some types of loans require the 4-point. And then there are pool. If you have a pool, there are some inspectors that are also licensed to inspect pools or hot tubs or spas. There's a lot of different inspections that you can do. Let me see if he's got he has them all up here. Yeah, and the air quality, that was another one. So you can have an air quality test done if you want to have that done. If there's, for any reason, like let's say it's a really old home and it just feels kind of musty, right? Remember, we live in Florida. We have kind of a humid climate here during the majority of our year. So if you ever walk into a home and it's older and it just kind of feels like, hey, you know what, I'd really like to have an air quality testing, you can have that done as well. Now, some of these tests come from different companies, so it may not all be done by the original inspector, but those are things that you should know exist so that, let's say that you have medical issues and you are very sensitive to mold or to, just very, very prone to allergies and things like that. Could be something that's worth doing. And again, these are just different types of inspections that can be done. All need to be done, however, within your inspection period. Now, one other note about that, and this is for all of you out there looking to purchase a home. If you have a 5-day or a 7-day or a 10-day, whatever your inspection period time limit is, that is your safety zone. Think of it as your safety zone. But that means that you have to get your inspection done during that time frame, which is easy enough to do. I wouldn't cut your inspection period so short, like 3 days, because that's hard to get an inspector out there, get them to do the inspection and get the results back, which usually you get the next day. That's kind of tight. But 5 days, 7 days, 10 days, totally fine. Those are all kind of the normal timelines. Now, what this means, let's say you get an inspection done within that time period. Let's say you have a 7-day inspection period. Day 3, you get your inspection report. You get the inspection done. Day 4, you get the inspection report back. You speak to your realtor. We talk about what really falls under the as-is nature of that contract, meaning things that you really should not be asking for. It's part of the as-is contract. You're buying a home that's going to have some love on it. It's going to have some bumps and some bruises. That is not something that the seller needs to remedy just because there's a scratch on the cabinet. That's going to happen. They don't need to replace your cabinets because there's a scratch. That's not what you should be expecting. But if the roof is at end of life and there's an active leak, now we're talking. Now we have something that we need to maybe talk about. But let's use that roof as an example. The roof doesn't have to be fixed during the inspection period. During that 7 days, it's not like you get inspection, receive the inspection report, discuss with your agent and confirm and send an addendum to get the seller to agree to inspection items, and then get it remedied within 7 days, guys, that's not realistic. You can't expect that. What you can expect is that you get the inspection report, have that conversation with your realtor as to what is and is not acceptable to ask for, get that addendum drawn up, get the seller to agree that those are the items that need to be remedied, and then you have until prior to closing to get that done. And in most cases, in almost all cases, what we're going to request is that we have photos that the proof was photos as proof that the work was done, work orders, receipts, invoices, things like that, and that we know the companies that did the work. And that can be done anytime outside of your inspection period. What we want to have confirmed within the inspection period is that we're all in agreement of what needs to happen, right? Okay, you know what? The AC, can you get the AC work? Just get a company to come out and just clean it, give it a good once over, make sure it's all tuned up. And can you get a roofer, a roofer out there to fix the roof? And you know what? The rest of it, part of the as-is contract, no big deal. And then we get the seller to agree to that part of it, and then we're off and rolling. We're just ticking until closing, and the seller will get those items done because that's now a part of the contract. But it doesn't mean that it's going to get done during that inspection period. And I've had a client recently, just really wanting everything done within the inspection period. And that's just not a realistic expectation, guys. It takes a while to get a roofer. And in this particular situation, there was an inspection report, two, count them with me, 1, 2 roof shingles that were barely not quite right. Completely understandable if the buyer was going to feel better that those be remedied and that those 2 shingles be replaced. 100%. Of course we want that to happen. But do you know how hard it is to get a roofer to come out and fix 1, 2 shingles when they've got a $30,000 whole roof replacement job that's a priority? So this is some of the things that you want to talk to your realtor about setting those expectations and making sure that we understand the work will get done. By the way, we did get the work done. Not a problem. It's good to have good contacts, by the way. Okay, Deb, think I know your answer, but would you advise new homeowner to have a third-party inspection prior to the 1-year warranty period? Yes, Deb. Thank you for listening. Yes, I say this all the time, and I didn't mention it just now, but 100% without a doubt, truly. Perfect example coming up. So what Dizzy is asking is back to that conversation that we were having a second ago about the inspections and the third party inspections. Once you own the home, that home is yours. So you just bought a home brand new. They built it. You closed on it brand new. You have a builder's 1-year warranty. And in most cases, it's a 1 and a 2 and a 10. 1 year, pretty much everything. 2 years, behind the walls, electrical, plumbing, and HVAC. Usually that's what your 2 year is going to cover. And then your 10 year is going to relate to your structural, right? Your trusses, your foundation, things like that. So, but what Deb is asking is right before, and I say this to all of my clients, if it is a new construction home, if you only had, I'm just going to say, if you were really tight on money and you only had $500 to spend one time on an inspection, would I advise you to spend it before you close, or would I advise you to do it toward the end of your 1-year warranty period with the builder, meaning you've now lived in the home for 10, 11, almost 12 months? Then hands down, I would say use that $500 to get the, Eric's back, guys. Oh my gosh. Hold on. Jeez. That was right in the middle of something too.
Amy, I'm here over your shoulder. Hi.
Hi, honey.
Get back to what you're talking about, sorry.
You're so handsome.
Hey, thanks.
Oh, he's pretty handsome. He's kind of handsome. I know Susan Forsgren agrees.
All right.
I'm just saying. Susan, I know. Girl, I know. Anyway. Anyway, what was I saying? Oh, yes. So 100% SIP. 100%. If you only had $500 to spend, again, your inspection could be 4, it could be 6. I'm just saying 500. If you only had 500 to spend once, totally, completely suggest that you spend that before your 1 year is up. Get that inspection done the beginning of your 11th month. That inspection report comes back 24 hours later. Take that information and as much of it as you can file with that builder's 1-year warranty. The builders don't want to hear me telling you that, and they may even push back on some of it, but the reality is it is your home, and if that inspector is now looking at things that are happening in your home that may not have presented themselves at your walkthrough when you first bought the home, because now you've been flushing toilets. Now, by the way, back to the inspections, sewer scope. Add that to the list, my friends. Sewer scope. Definitely get a sewer scope done to make sure that the sewer line from the house to the street, that sewer, that's unobstructed, or no cracks, things like that. Add that to it. Anyway, but yeah, you can file that with the builder's warranty online. Usually it's an online warranty portal. But that inspector is going to go look in your attic. Are you going to go up into your attic and look at stuff? Do you even know what you're looking for? The inspector is going to go up to the roof. They're going to be looking for cracked tiles or, blistered shingles or things like that. They're going to be looking for leaks and things like that you're not necessarily going to see. But the more you've been flushing toilets, the more you've been doing laundry, the more you've been doing dishes and cooking, and opening and closing doors, all of these things are going to happen in your home. And the best thing to do is to compile that list, get that inspection done, and then file that with the builder's warranty and let them take care of all of it. In fact, true story, I'm going to pull it up here right now, and I'm going to use poor Alex. I love you, Alex, but I'm going to use you as an example. And it's okay because people sometimes forget. I tell this to people, but there's a lot going on, and so people forget. Let me see if I can find this. Where is the pictures? Okay, so so I have a sweet client closed on a townhome, and there was a couple of issues that he noticed. Some of them were normal. Like, for instance, we have closet doors here. They just have that little ball at the top, the little ball where it snaps in and snaps out, so you don't really turn the knob and open it, you just pull it. Well, that little ball at the tip top, it just screws. So it can screw down or it can screw up. And so sometimes all of a sudden your door that was closing is no longer closing, or you can't get it to open because you feel like it's locked in place. A lot of it has to do with that little ball that's up there. Things like that are going to happen as the home settles. But unfortunately, he had a much bigger situation. I'm going to show you this picture. Okay, can I do it? How do I show this picture? Hold it up to the camera. Look at this picture. Whatever. Okay, can you see it? So, well, I don't know if you can see it. There's mold. There's water damage to a baseboard. Should not have happened with one year. So that is definitely a warranty issue. And so when he sent me these pictures, which by the way, I love, he closed over a year ago and they're still texting me questions, updates, life, stories, and then questions and concerns with their home. And I said, Alex said, where are we in your 1 year? Did you get your 1 year warranty done? And wouldn't you know, I kid you not, he was like a week past his 1 year. If he had done all of that. Now, by the way, because that's a plumbing issue, that falls under the 2 year, builder is taking care of it, not a problem. In fact, I think it's already remedied very, very quickly. So kudos to D.R. Horton for addressing that, acknowledging it, getting that taken care of, because remember, humans are imperfect humans. Things don't always work the way they're supposed to. Houses aren't 100% perfect ever. So my measure of a builder is how they recover when something goes wrong, because something always does. That is what I say. I preach it all the time. And that is a great example. So, Deb, yes, ma'am, get an inspection done right before your 1 year builder warranty expires.
Random correction. He bought a bungalow, not a townhome.
Oh, you're right. I'm sorry.
No, random. No, I'm saying not important. But.
You're right. He bought a bungalow. It was not a townhome. My apologies. But yes, correct. Anyway, so Deb, that's a great point. Thank you. I love that you guys pay attention because, I love it when you catch me, and I did do it. So Lisa, Julie, I'll get yours in a minute. Lisa, would you suggest getting a home inspection for a home that you are selling? Okay, so that is a great question too, and that is a double-edged sword, okay? You guys know me. I'm very honest. I am very transparent. I am a rule follower, right? So here's the thing. If you have an older home, if you anticipate that there are potentially some inspection items that are going to need to be done, like if you're like, I don't know, we've lived in this home 10 years and the home was 8 years old when we bought it. I don't really know what's going on. It works fine for us. Then this is what I say. And this is a me decision, not a you decision, okay? Another realtor is going to tell you the completely opposite, and they're going to think I'm cuckoo crazy and I'm stupid for saying it. Here's the thing. I like to be proactive. If I know that there is an issue, I would rather you as the seller have that remedied or addressed prior to listing the home so that we don't potentially lose a buyer during the inspection period. For instance, if you get an inspection done before you list your home as the seller, and you're like, oh, wow, this is fantastic. You know what? This house to be 20 years old is in fantastic shape. We know we have to replace the roof, already in the plan, not a problem, but everything else is in great shape. Well, you know what? as your realtor listing your home, I can use that inspection report as part of the marketing, as part of bragging on your home and saying, you know what? This home had a fantastic inspection right before we listed. We're happy to share that with you if you would like to see it. Not advising you to not get your own inspection, by the way, back to my previous comment, because again, honest transparency. I still would want a buyer to get it done, but it certainly could help in encouraging a buyer to maybe see that home in a different light and have a little bit more peace of mind with it. And let's say the opposite is true. Let's say you get an inspection done on your property that you own before you sell it. And let's say that inspection report comes up with, 10 to 15 pretty big items, AC unit, blah, 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 roof, a little bit of this. Maybe there's a potential plumbing leak over here. There's some aesthetic things that we're not going to worry about, but maybe some things that you could worry about. Let's say there was a very simple fix with recaulking the bathtubs or putting a little bit more grout over here in that particular section of the bathroom floor. Whatever the case may be, as the seller, you can, and the example is the home that Eric just went to. They had a pre-listing inspection done and they remedied so much of it, like so many things they were already aware of, like, oh, this is small, I can do this, I can get a handyman, fix this, fix that. And then you are selling your home with fewer items that are going to come up on a buyer's inspection. But here's the caveat, right? Here's the other side of that sword where another realtor might say, absolutely flippin' not, you're not going to do an inspection before you sell your home, because if you get that inspection report and they say, hey, you know what, that roof is end of life, looks like there's a pretty big, massive structural integrity issue over here on that right side of the home that really, really, really needs to be remedied, and maybe it's a big item. Well, you need to disclose that now. So when you fill out your seller's property disclosure that your realtor is going to require you to do, that you'll need to provide to any potential buyer out there that might be interested in your home, you know that exists, so now you have to disclose that. So that is where you have to make that decision for yourself. I did when we sold our home that we built in Virginia. When we first moved here to Florida, before we put it for sale in the market, I had my inspector come out, do a look at it. In fact, I had noticed a very weird spot on this one section. I'm like, I don't know where it came from. It had to have come from somewhere. And so he took special care and attention to look where that spot was. He's like, it was just a one-off. There's nothing there. There is nothing wet. There is no damage. There is no moisture. And so sometimes when those weird things happen in Florida, we attribute that to sideways rain. When we have those really intense, I literally saw the little thing come up. It's like, who's holding a phone with my picture on it? That's funny. Anyway, so hopefully that helps. But that, I definitely, Lisa, I think that is something that you should always consider. Make it a personal decision. Talk to your realtor about whether or not that's something that they would be comfortable with you doing. But my decision as a listing agent when those sellers are in the conversation is, if we expect a great inspection report and it's just maybe a few small things that we could do to like really spit polish and shine the home, then let's do it. Let's find out, hey, it's caulk, it's grout, it's nothing, it's a little chip tile here, it's a scratch over there. There's a dent on the AC handler outside, but it's not a big deal, but it exists. Okay, fine. Or if it is another bigger issue, then as the realtor and the seller, we can discuss, hey, you know what? That roof is going to be an issue. So let's talk now about what we need to do. Are you going to put on a new roof? Do you want to do a concession to the buyer so that they can put on a new roof? Because it's going to come up. There's no way to sugarcoat it. Roof needs to be replaced. Or do we just want to disclose, like I said, just disclose that at the beginning, and again, it's gonna be there for everyone to know. So again, just personal. Thank you. God, he's good. Look what he brought me. He swapped out my soda or my Coke for. Shoot, try that again. Trying that again. Hold on. Take 25,000. Swapped out my coffee for a Diet Coke.
Clearly too much Bailey's Irish cream in the coffee. I'm kidding, not really.
Anyway, no, I get so passionate about this stuff. And I really feel like inspections are a great thing to have done. And by the way, real estate selling or buying aside, if you live in a home right now and you're just watching this because you love to laugh on Monday mornings because I'm such a goober, fine. But you can have an inspection done on your own home for no purpose other than you just want to have an inspection done and have someone look at it, because it is always better to be proactive. When I was a little kid, my granny used to say, a stitch in time saves 9. For the longest time, I had no idea what that meant. I couldn't comprehend. What was she, like a stitch? What is she talking about? Saves 9? Like what? And the point is, fixing something small now is going to take nothing. But if you wait and let it get bigger, then it's gonna cost you a lot more. It's gonna be a much bigger deal later on. So a stitch in time saves 9. So anyway, so that's kind of my point on that. All right, I have Susie Q. She said, we used CFBI as well. They were great. Did our pre-drywall, sewer scope, and pre-closing inspections. Yes, ma'am. So seriously, I use them all the time. And again, there are lots of inspection companies out there. I do not want you to think or feel that, I have some inside scoop with these people. Not at all. I am a creature of habit. And again, back to what my grandmother says, if it's not broke, don't fix it. If a company is working, that's funny with an inspection, if it's not broke, don't fix it. Well, if it is broke, do fix it, but you need to find out if it's broke. Anyway, but a great company that I work with a lot, so I'm very, very grateful to them. Anyway, all right, guys, I think I got everything. There's a few things we didn't get to, like what I'm watching, but let's face it, do you really care? No, you don't. Nah. And you know what? I'm not going to be watching it as of next week, because I think I'm already, I already got to the second episode. I'm like, now you're cuckoo crazy. So
Diz Deb said she'll be here in 10 minutes.
Diz Deb said she'll be here in 10 minutes. All right.
Well, the guests are leaving today, so
yeah, we do need the time to clean the space and disinfect everything. Not that y'all are gross or anything, people upstairs. I just mean, to clean it all. Anyway, all right, guys. As always, I really do appreciate you guys. Hold on. I really do appreciate you guys joining us every single Monday morning. You guys are awesome. It's a great way for us to start our week. For me to start my day, dressed and ready to tackle whatever may happen. Got a busy week coming up. I hope you guys are able to have a good week as well. Hope you're going to have good weather where you are. Stay warm if it's cold where you are. Stay cool if it's hot where you are. If you want to have a place in between, come on to Florida. All right, guys. As always, again, remember, we appreciate you. Please stay safe, stay well. Let me find my button. And remember, we love you. Happy house hunting. Bye, guys.